Hello, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Ace the Hunt. This is I don't know what I want to say. It's not like most hunting channels that you probably would find where everything is recorded, edited. Um, I'm going to try to make this as real as possible because, quite honestly, hunting is a fun and enjoyable sport for me, and I've acquired a lot of knowledge from listening and watching other channels, reading articles online, following people on Facebook and on YouTube, and I want to dedicate this channel towards giving you information that you need to be even more successful. And I'm going to try to be as realistic as possible with doing that. So I invite you to follow my page, Facebook page, Ace the Hunt. It's on the screen right now, as well as my YouTube channel. If you could hit the subscribe button, you can get instant notifications when I post um, videos, articles, and all sorts of useful and fun information. Um, so Ace the Hunt, what do I mean by that? Well, you can get a lot of information online, but you have to compile it all together in order to be successful. And just like when you're learning in school or college, you have to make sure you are diligent in your learning in order to ace the class. So the point of this channel and this page and soon to be website, hopefully, is to give all hunters out there the knowledge and education needed to number one, be safe, number two, have fun, and number three, be successful. And I'll divulge into a little bit more for other episodes, but the purpose of today's introduction is when you want to hunt, there's a lot of processes that you have to go through. I mean, the first thing is that you have to obviously decide what you want to hunt. As for me, I really love deer hunting. I don't do any other kind of hunting really. It's very challenging, and I enjoy that. But you might want to hunt small game. You might want to hunt moose. You might want to hunt elk. So that's the first thing you need to do is make a decision. What do I want to hunt? And then the second thing is what are you going to hunt it with? I mean, you can hunt with a gun, a bow, a crossbow. Some people probably would argue they have better success hitting deer with their car on their way to their hunting site. And the third thing is where are you going to hunt? And I know for me that's been a challenge, to be quite honest with you. I've knocked on some doors with very little success. Usually the answer is no, we only allow friends and family to hunt our property. Um, Fortunately, there is a lot of property that is open to the public, and the cool thing is that you own it. So I want to show you a little bit of how I've been able to find some lightly pressured public properties and then some sites that you can use to find it. So you can always go to the Michigan DNR, or you can Google it, type in where can I hunt, and wait for this to open up a second. Maybe. State of Michigan, DNR, where can I hunt? And you just scroll down and you click start. And this is the first thing. This is for finding state and commercial property that you can hunt in the state of Michigan. Michigan is where I'm from. That's where I'm going to be focusing this on as I'm starting out. There's thousands of acres of public property that you can hunt. And then the trick is how do you find that spot that you're not going to have your hunt potentially ruined by other hunters or workers or whatever. This site is a good site to identify those boundaries where you could legally hunt without encroaching on private property and therefore trespassing. So there's this is one site of many. You can go to MIHunt, and it's taking forever to load. So I'm going to go to the one, and you can also go to county property. There's a lot of open property within counties that allow hunting, and a lot of times you can find those places by just simply going to your county website, and they'll give you usually a link that says properties open to public hunting, and some of them are archery only, some of them are archery and firearm. You just have to follow the rules. One of the sites that I use for hunting is HuntStand. I find HuntStand to be very helpful. This is a piece of property that I found using my county website in Ottawa County, and it's not really well known. As a matter of fact, I've only seen I first started hunting this property a couple times last year, and I only seen one tree stand out there in the property, and when I was there for the gun opener, there was only 3 other guys hunting it. So it's not very well known, and as you can see here on the map, it's very large. A couple of things on this property that you want to look for. The first of all is parking. Now, unfortunately, if I move myself out of the way here, the property line ends way over here, so there is no access. In fact, this road right here, I drove down here, and it is clearly signed that they do not want any hunters parking here. Even though this is a public road, there's no parking, so you cannot access the property here from the east. Another potential access point is you could drop into the Grand River here, and you could access this property via kayak, canoe, or boat. But the best spot is there's parking right here. Now the downside in Michigan here, our winds are primarily west, northwest, or north. So my first thought when I was here was, how are you going to access any of your hunting spots coming from upwind? I don't know. That's the only parking spot in the whole property. This right here is a power line cut, and it is used as a walking trail primarily to access. It is clear as day that this has been mowed down by other hunters. I walked down it, and there's lots of deer trails crossing back and forth. In this introduction here, I wanted to kind of show you some things to clue in on. This field over here is an ag field. Last year they had soybeans in it. This year I haven't checked it out because I'm trying to stay away till then. My suspicion is it's probably corn or wheat, something like that. So a couple of things that I like to do right off the bat. First, where am I going to park? Second, how am I going to walk in? Third, what's the food source? The food source is that there's lots of obviously there's this field here. There's lots of acorns in here, lots of berry bushes. Um, the second thing is water. Well, obviously the river's down here, but a lot of times the deer, they don't like to go along the river, especially in daylight hours, because that opens them up. They're not going to usually be along the river unless they're trying to escape from pressure, or predators too. So what I like to focus in on is bayous. This is a nice little bayou right here. It's pretty thick along the edges, so deer could possibly move from this field down here along this creek and probably bed somewhere in here. It's pretty thick right in there. The other thing I like to look for is cricks. This map you really can't see much. The cool thing about HuntStand, and you can also find similar things on, is that you can do a topographic map, which map features list. Oops. Let's see here. Find it. Select base layer. And then you can do topographic terrain. And if you zoom in here, there is another creek. There's another creek that runs right in there. I don't know why it's not letting me zoom in. It's not going to be very friendly. There's another creek that runs right through here. You can see it clearly, pretty clear on the map here. It's a small creek, but loaded with deer tracks. And so, after walking this property, what I've done is I've kind of determined that there's several pinch points that I would focus on. The first one is right up in here, in this upper corner. That would be a great spot for a evening with a northwest or a north or northeast wind. Something where the wind is coming across like this. And the reason why I focus on that is that it's along the edge of timber, and it's along this field. If they're gonna feed in this field at night, they're gonna either come from over here, they're gonna come upwind, or they're gonna come like this and parallel the edge and then enter out in this corner here. Anything where they can smell anything that's in this area. So if I set up over here and a deer comes across like this along this edge to come out of this corner here, they might smell me over here, but they're not going to smell me when they get over here. And that's one thing that I've learned with deer, is that they always circle around. They like to put the wind in their nose, or they like to be able to see. If they can't smell it, they want to be able to see it. Another location is right here in this little swale in between the creek. I could see deer coming up this creek for a good morning spot, and then coming and circling around and bedding in this area. The other location that I kind of keyed in on is right in here. There's a lot of steep ridges and ravines right in here. This is obviously drainage from this field, and pretty wide open. That would be a good observation spot. Walk in on this power line cut, and then set up either in my climber or something of that, or my regular tree stand, and just set up like right over here and glass this field over here. See once where they're coming from, where they're going. Do they come in this direction and walk around this bayou, or do they just stick up in here? So the purpose of this episode really is just to give you guys information and tools to find out where you want to go before you put boots on the ground. So thanks for watching, and as always, ace the hunt.